Okay, kids, I'm going to give you a quick little tour of my garden and my kind of plans. I don't know what I'm doing, but anyway, here's a little example of all of, sorry, the dirt I have on my counter, as you can see, they're bad, but anyway, a bunch of seeds I want to put in the garden. You can see there's various herbs, gourds, peppers, beans, I mean, just everything here, and that's my box of seeds. So with that said, I don't know if you can hear my chimes, but it's windy outside. Anyway, so we're going to go out. That's my banana tree. And these are my passion fruit plants. I brought the seeds back last year from Maui, and this is what they are now. I had maybe 20 pots, but anyway. There we go. So we're going to go out the back. And it's really windy, so I hope you can hear. But there I have a plumeria, and these are a bunch of begonias and seeds. But let's go out. This is my backyard, and it is kind of windy. Lots of stuff to plant anyway. So we'll just see if I'm going to come up with enough room. This is a walkway, and if you see my pergola here, we're thinking about taking this all out. We've got to reside the house this year, so we might just put a big glass solarium off this, but we don't know. This is my kind of catch-all, besides my shed, which is totally full, but everything that's coming out right now, it's from last year. I dug up these raspberries and I'm looking for homes, and there's more pots here. These are all from last year that were held over. And over here, lots of pots. This is a sage, I think it was from last year. I didn't get it into the ground. Oh, sorry, it's a Spanish lavender. Anyway, and I have carrots, scallions, more carrots, and that's a Hawaiian fruit. I can't remember. Papaya. Yeah. And that is a burning bush I didn't get planted last year. And this is just a whole bunch of plants that are coming up, and lilies. There's a bunch of lilies in there. This is where my pool was. And I think I'm going to have to put a bunch of raised beds in this area because right now it's not really anything but a catch-all for my extra pots and cat stuff. This is one of my ponds, which I need to get in there and clean up. I just haven't done it because it's still getting too cold. There's an ornamental bush. It'll start to bloom. Let's come up here. This is my Irish moss, but it's not coming out yet. It's still too cold, and there's some Japanese climbers and some wisteria. This is another little pond that I have. A bunch of ivy, and this is my hops. It totally was covering up a good half of this lean-to or pergola last year. We've got it watered for sprinkling, but anyway, that is my hops, and you can see it's going to climb up that pole and get to the top of this canopy and shade it out again. But anyway, that's my hops. And I'm trying to kill some of it off because there's way too much. And that's another little pond. I put a really good sized turtle in there last year and it's gone. I don't know where it went. This is a corkscrew willow. It's probably a good 20 feet. And it was maybe 2 feet 2 years ago. So it is really liking it. And this is my herb garden. Those are lamb's ear, but those aren't herbs. But there's lemon balm and savory and oregano and thyme. And then there's some the watercress and all kinds of flowers in there that aren't up yet. Because it's really sunny and great back here. But it's just not quite normal or warm enough yet. You can see right up there on the peak of the mountain there's still snow. And my poppies, there's me, hi. More flowers coming up. My grapes, and that is a kiwi. The other one died, and I don't know if it's this one left as the male or female, so I'm either going to have to get 2 more or wait until this one blooms, and so far it hasn't bloomed. But my grapes, I'm trying to figure out what to do with those. These strawberries, I've got to move all of them out or try to give them away because they get too much shade there and they mildew because of the grapes. So they've all got to go. And I have 3 blueberries in buckets and a climbing rose and more poppies. This is all going to be something, I don't know, but today I put climbing sweet peas and green bean, pole beans in, but that's the only thing I really have. But you saw all those bags of seeds, and I've got, this is my garden space, which it really is bigger than it looks. And like I said, all of this house needs to get resided and painted this year, so that's about ready to get started as soon as it stops getting so cold. Those are my raspberries. Last year I think I got 15 gallons off of just those. This is my big tall fence. You can see the rakes, and that thing goes up. This is just to keep the deer off, but what it's done, it's made it so warm back here I can plant early. So that's kind of what I'm doing. And this gate, I could open it, but I only have one hand, so I'm going to come through here. This, I put morning glories to come up it off that old plow, but that is an actual old, you put slats of wood in there and then string wire, and it's a clothesline. For all of us country folks, we like old trashy stuff. And that's looking into the window of my studio, which is an absolute disaster right now. But anyway, this is a side gate I'll open up. This whole area here was fenced in from this gate all the way down to the end of the drive where those poppies are. And there was a big gate. That's half the gate. I covered that into, there's one of the neighbors. Anyway, I just closed in this little area to keep the deer out, but I'm trying to slowly but surely. Those are all more red oriental poppies. I'm going to put all the strawberries over here that I can, and some rhubarb. Those are more poppies. These are 2 cherries. There's a Royal Anne and a Rainier, I believe. But that ground there is basically worthless because it gets too much shade in the summertime, so I can't really put anything there. And all of these are strawberries, but I'm going to take those out. The deer will eat them now anyway. The deer won't eat the poppies, and they won't eat these Leland cypress, but ugh, that wind. Oh, it's cold. And I've got a few, those are my little wires. One of these days I'm going to chainsaw those some bitches down. Anyway, yeah, that's my chimes. There's some cathedrals, and then some that are just a little bit smaller. But anyway, that's my garden. So if anybody has an idea of how in the world I'm going to put all of those seeds down in what little ground I have left, and I've done this all myself except the heavy work, of course, and the brain stuff, that's what Jay does. But I seeded all of this grass in and the walkway and all that grass. And anyway, that's that. We're getting into the sunlight, but that whole area right there I think is going to have to be raised beds, unless we put the solarium onto the side of the house this year. But I don't want to do beds and the solarium is too much work. Anyway, thought you guys would like to see that. Anyway, that's the back side of the house. Bye. Have a cog day. Love you guys.